Hello and welcome to this episode of Let's Chat MetaPWR. And tonight's guest is Tracey Coulthard. And I'm going to give you a little introduction. So Tracy grew up in, hope I pronounce this right, Invercargill. Is that right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, perfect.
Having a little practice beforehand. So this is the southernmost city in New Zealand. And today you've got 3 adult boys, aged 30, 33 and 36, and a beautiful black Labrador. So we'll be hearing about your beautiful lab in tonight's session, I'm sure. Now, your working career started as a fashion artist for a local newspaper and then moved to travel and tourism for 13 years, which then led to 25 years in tertiary teaching. And you shared with me that you loved long walks and dancing. However, you had to put aside your dancing shoes for sneakers when a series of falls led to a diagnosis of primary progressive MS back in 2010. So 2016 led to the sudden end of your working career, and you attended an Overcoming MS retreat, which gave a revolutionary what if essential oils could help me kind of attitude. And Tracy, I know you've got a love of learning. You've got your true life purpose that you're living now. You're teaching and you're learning about doTERRA. You're educating and inspiring and empowering others who are also open to a holistic lifestyle. So I'd love to start off with asking you about this diagnosis that you've been living with for 14 years, and how is MetaPWR improving your quality of life?
Okay, thanks everybody, and thanks for jumping on. I'm really excited about sharing my story because I kind of believe, like a good book or a movie, this is phenomenal because health is everything, and our only house we live in is our body. So I feel it great to be able to share my story just because you might know someone that's actually got MS as well, which seems to be more and more being diagnosed with MS in some course or some sort of autoimmune disease. But what was it like when I was diagnosed? It sort of started with really bizarre things like a numb thumb and a numb next finger, and that's where it began. And we were going through a lot of stress in our life, raising teenagers and kids and things like that. And I thought I must have had a pinched nerve in my back. So, like all of us, what we tend to do is we ignore those symptoms, thinking, I remember going for a walk with my husband on the West Coast and going back to my craft group that I was in. And we started talking about late 40s, like, oh my gosh, I said, I don't know what's going on. My leg gave away on me. And another one said, oh my gosh, I've got the shoulder that's playing up. And the other one said, and my bloody knees are giving me jips. So we decided it was our age, and that's what it is, and maybe menopause and all these things showing up. So you just put up with it. So I actually went along to my GP, who actually sent me through an X-ray, and because I thought it might be coming from my back on my left hand, etc. But nothing showed up under the X-ray other than having a sway back. And I was a dancer. As I said, I had to hang up my dancing shoes, so to speak, for gym shoes. And even them I fell off gym shoes. So what actually happened was that I got this diagnosis of MS, and it was horrible. I thought my world had ended. So all these symptoms that had been happening in isolation ended up being primary progressive MS. And Mark came along with me, and we asked the neurologist, how do we fix it? And he said, unfortunately, we can't. That my life will be shortened as being mobile. I will end up in a wheelchair, but because primary progressive MS progresses, and it can progress quickly, and he said, just go and live your life. And that's what I was told to do, so to speak. And then I'd have an MS nurse getting in touch with me, which he did that week. And it's kind of awful, really, where all of a sudden you go from this life of living, dancing, walking, working full time, etc., and all of a sudden you're told this news. So I kind of thought my world was over, but I pushed through, work scaled down to just me. So therefore I had to keep turning up to work every day. And what actually happened in 2015 and 16, there was a big review of tertiary qualifications. So not only teaching full time, like it was 8:30 to 4, Monday to Thursday, rewriting entire programs, I started progressing really quickly. But it was awful losing, when you're teaching 18 to 25-year-olds and you start to talk and all of a sudden you can feel your bladder running down your legs, or your bowel, or all of a sudden you go to swallow and you can't get muscle in your throat. You get home and cook tea and then you've got no energy to serve it out, to hold my left hand or anything like that. Or you come home from work and you need to have a snooze before you do anything. So yeah, and going for a walk, all of a sudden I couldn't. So that's what my journey was like before. And when I finished work, I thought my world had ended. So I'd been to that Overcoming MS retreat. Work weren't prepared to work with me. I had to finish work. So, when people retire, they actually plan for retirement and it's the next phase in their life and they're excited and perhaps they've got grandchildren around or they're going to go and travel the world and do all these things. But when you're told that you can't turn up at work anymore because your health is going to have you deteriorating, and it did, I couldn't even walk out the end of our lane. So I made my husband come home for lunch each day because I was in these four walls, and my beautiful black lab, at the time, we had to say goodbye to him a couple of months ago. He was my soulmate. So I made Mark come home to take me out for a coffee because I wanted to see what the real world was doing outside of our four walls. And my friend got me drawing every day, which was really beautiful because it gave me a sense of purpose, and we'd teach them to one another. So that was life before. Beautiful Kim showed me doTERRA, and I wasn't interested because the neurologist had said that there's nothing they can do, and my hairdresser said that they might help me, and it didn't add up in my head. But I needed people, so I went out, and I love her to bits because she's my soulmate, and every day we connect with one another, and she's got the biggest heart. She encourages me as well, like my beautiful husband does too. He's, we all got some very special people in our life, so
That's beautiful.
That's
I can see Kim radiating there. Kim, do you want to unmute and share at this moment?
Yeah, I can add to that. Thank you, Tracy. I'm just so grateful for Tracy too. We just bounce off each other. So we've been through a lot together. So it's good. It's very grateful for our soul sisters.
Yeah, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, I was going to add that, what does a hairdresser know about health now? I was like, what do I know? But no, she's part of my story why I continue to share doTERRA and the products, because she's a walking she's a walking example of what they can do. Obviously, it's more to that, just the oils, but obviously the holistic. It's such an inspiration. Yeah. Very grateful.
So at that stage, Kim, were you showing Tracy the MetaPWR system, or were these oils?
Oh, this is oils. So this was back in 2017, probably. Yeah. So no, there was just oils around then.
Okay. So then, Tracy, what was it that caught your eye about MetaPWR and made you give it that a go? What was that?
Okay, so I have what if it helps me attitude. And everything for me is about health and wellness, because at the end of the day, if you haven't got your health, you've got nothing. And so what inspired me to start MetaPWR was Kim and I went off to Melbourne last year to the convention. And I was really nervous about going, but knowing that I had Kim with me, because trying to find accommodation that was close, that we didn't have to walk too far or anything like that. And Kim was just a honey. She would say, oh, I'll go and get us a coffee, you wait here, or I'll go and get us da-da-da, or etc. So she was, which I'm so grateful for, because it wasn't easy for me, but I wanted to be there. And after hearing Dr. Riggs at convention, Emily Wright telling her story, Joanna Rustling meeting her in the flesh, and the science behind it, actually what really inspired me, because I'm a need to know person. And once I know and I hear, I keep asking, we've got this fabulous MetaPWR testimonies where PJ and all those ones there, Leonie, etc. I just love it, because then I ask the questions, and once I learn, I love learning, I then trust the process.
Ah, fantastic. Yeah, that really does help, having the testimonials and the science and seeing
Yeah.
the changes. So
Yeah.
what was it for you that you noticed initially? Do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, so what I actually found is so fatigue is really big with MS. So one of the big things I found is my energy levels have changed. So you know, from generally last to bed and you know, up early in the morning, where, you know, if I go back to when I was first diagnosed with MS, getting out of bed, you know, they used to say you had 12 spoons for the day, and one of those spoons is actually getting out of bed. The next spoon is actually having a shower, and if you've got to wash your hair, that's another spoon. So by the time you'd gone through your day, you could even get to mid-morning or lunchtime and you'd spent all your spoons, so you had no energy to go and help someone else. So that is the big thing, because the energy for me to manage my day, which gives you a huge sense of purpose as well. But it's not only the energy, also comes in the physical form as well. So being able to go for, you know, to do what I want to do, but then to go for a walk or to cook dinner, to go to art, yeah, to even make a phone call or talk to somebody else. So that movement in that, and also the energy emotionally as well, to actually handle the day. The other thing is skin. I feel as if my skin, even my orthopedic surgeon, because I had a full hip replacement in November, and a lot of people say, oh, it's nothing. People were actually back walking the park within 3 weeks. But then I've got another layer on that, is MS, and it's the same side as my MS. I had the most dreadful spasms, and I was given nothing, and I had, you know, like to take for it. So I was taking my MetaPWR and following that. So like my orthopedic surgeon said, oh my gosh, look at your skin, how elastic it is, when I went to on my 5-week check, and he rubbed my arm saying, oh, and turn your arm over, and he was really amazed by that. But I always feel if your skin's healthy on the outside, it means something must be healthy on the inside as well. Other thing I've noticed is strong nails, and hair. Like, you know, when you're going for an operation, you're not allowed to have any nail polish on. So, you know, they tell your health and how you're doing by your nails as well. So it's a sign of, you know, that everything's working well, too. So healthy gut, so to speak. My hair used to, I've got no color in my hair, so I'm all back to natural color now. And a lot of people have said to me, oh my gosh, your hair's getting darker. So I'm 63 this year, so you know, you know, it's kind of cool, rather than getting that silver look. So, which is really cool. So I did a Dutch hormone test back in 2022, and my estrogen level was below the lineal range. So my hormones and things like that, I'm making sure now. I love from the MetaPWR Reclaim Your Energy, the anatomy of a plate that Alice Nichols talked about. So Mark and I getting up and cooking breakfast now, making a third of the plate is actually protein, having more protein. But that's what I love about the collagen, because it's the protein that our bodies need. So the micro, macro, you know, in our food and things like that. So it's all going to help towards cell regeneration and repair. Another big thing I noticed is, you've got a few things, haven't I? But bowel and bladder, oh my gosh. So that was such a horrible time in my life losing bowel and bladder, no warning, like a baby. And now my cells are obviously hydrated, even sort of drinking more throughout the day, that I'm not needing to go to the toilet and getting that. I'm getting a warning now, which is really great. And at night time, I can go 8 to 10 hours at night. I'm not getting up at all through the night to go to the toilet. So if we're going a lot through the night, I remember seeing this clock of, like take a note of the time that you're actually getting up to go to the toilet, whether, like it's your kidneys or your liver or whatever. So, things can be going on if you're actually getting up a lot through the night. And I'm not getting up at all, so which is fantastic. So therefore, better sleep, deeper sleep, and actually more energy through the day. And mental clarity, I don't know about you, but, have you ever had that, you go into a room and what have I come here for? So being, a lot more connected to my thoughts or what I'm doing or staying on task, which is fantastic as well. So that's what I've noticed since taking it. I have been on it since the convention, which was the end of June. So since July, 11 months now.
Yes, and I like how you described it as, you're taking it consistently with patience and belief,
Yeah.
which is a big part of it. Yeah, and so that's really interesting to hear the things you noticed. Did you want to share photos that are in reference to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will just share my screen.
While Tracy's setting that up, I'll just remind everyone you're welcome to ask questions, easy in the chat, and then at the end we can unmute as well. Thanks, Tracy. Yeah, I can see the pictures.
So I took photos of my face and also my body, because as what I was also finding was getting older, if I ate anything, I felt as if a lot of women as they get middle age get, roundy round here. So I felt that I was actually I would eat anything and I felt like it was just sitting there, and we get this little what they call the menopause apron. And so I've taken a photo of my body as well, and I haven't put that up here, but notice I feel a lot more toned in my body too, and my tummy feels happier, which is great. And as my legs and my body and everything like that, I just feel as if I'm noticing a change in the shape of my body. And of course, I can't go for that big long walk like for 2 hours or whatever, so it's just happening itself. But this was quite interesting, my face. So seeing that from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4, can you notice the change in the shape of my face? And then there's 5 months, and then 10 months. At last earlier this month, actually, because we're still May, it was our 40th wedding anniversary. So that's the photo at our 40th wedding anniversary. And I said to my husband, "Do you notice a change?" And he said, "You actually look more alive, more vibrant than, those earlier pictures." So, yeah, and that's how I feel as well. So, if you feel alive, you feel happy, you feel like you're within your body, you feel like everything's working well the way it should be, then something's working, isn't it?
Oh, you can see even through the computer screen, you are just glowing, Tracy. Do you get a lot of compliments and comments from people?
I am actually, and I have people saying, "Oh, you're looking so good," because they know about me and my journey and obviously seen me. So I am getting a lot of comments about, "You're looking so good." You don't have to be this thin little stick to look good, because, you actually just have to be healthy in your body. And then if you feel healthy in your body and things are working, and then you're happy, aren't you? And you're
I love
happy,
it.
and yeah, and then you can share it with others, and then you can help others. That's what I love about it, because I say, like creating little habits and things like that. if it's, I put an importance on me, because everything that I do that doesn't serve me, I say it smells of wheelchair, and I ain't going there.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, creating habits. What helped you when you initially started with MetaPWR to make it a daily habit, Tracy?
I think the thing is, for me, because I've got this diagnosis and I don't want to go there, to create the habits, and because I'm loving using the oils and everything like that, and switching and ditching out things in my home, I feel we're actually on the most incredible journey, and it's not until we appreciate that you perhaps own it and you go there. So my day starts with me, from that reclaim your energy. I love this dry brushing. Have you ever had someone's, like your little sit in, or as a child, sit and wash your back for you? So this dry brush, I get the MetaPWR oil, and so this is, one of the things before I get in the shower, just put the drop of the oil in my hands, rub my hands together, and then the brush over it, and then dry tapping, opening up the lymphatic system, and then do the dry brushing over your body. I just love that feeling. And I do that a couple of times a week. And then have my shower, of course, but when I get out, I've been doing the other one that we learned, was the yarrow pom. So I've run out of this. So what I'm actually doing is just putting fractionated coconut oil in, and so probably about 8 drops of yarrow pom essential oil, and then I have got probably about 8 to 10 drops of the MetaPWR, and then I just squirt that, and this is my aromatically dressing. And we've got a new lab now. 2 weeks after we said goodbye to our beautiful Mr. Louis, we now have Astro, which means star. And she comes, we rehomed her. So we got her at 10 months old. So she's now 13 months, and she just comes and she just wants to lick my leg. So it's a fight to get it on and her not lick it off. So
Must be something in there that she's needing too, hey? Some therapeutic.
yeah, there must be. Yeah, maybe it's the yarrow pom in the fractionated coconut oil. I don't know. Cedar will know more about that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
And
Can you show us the dry brush again? Sorry, I had the slides up just so we can see. There we go.
yeah. So I got this at Kmart. I think it was about maybe $9 or something like that. So yeah, this is really lovely. Feels so nice on your skin, and actually to see, getting the circulation going in your lymphatic system.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good
it
way
feels.
good way to use the blend, because we end up getting quite a few bottles, don't we, when we buy the MetaPWR bundle?
Yeah, absolutely. And then so after I've aromatically dressed, my hubby and I cook breakfast, the anatomy of a plate with their protein and things like that. But then I use the oil, I put a couple of drops in water, and I take my lifelong vitality supplements, and the MetaPWR assist. So because we're having a good cooked breakfast, and I put 2 drops of that in my water. And then throughout the day, I'm always making sure I've got a glass of water on my desk, because I'm not very good at drinking water. So if I have it sitting there, I'm getting up and having it. Or the other thing I love is on a tea bag, a drop of the MetaPWR oil on the tea bag, and then just have it in your tea, which is really lovely.
I love your accent, just by the way. I could listen to you.
My accent.
It's very delicate but beautiful. We've got a great question here from Deborah about MS. How do they know that you have it? Is it a blood test, or was it based on your symptoms? How are you doing?
So it's a lumbar punch and also a MRI on the full brain and spine, because it was progressive, because it was my mobility was being affected. So yeah, they put your head in the cage and your body, and put you about an hour and a half in the MRI machine. And because they thought that I'd actually had it for about 10 years prior to me being diagnosed, So that's probably about 24 years. Because of the size of the lesions, they're actually really large, and they're mainly in my spine, my sort of C2 down to my C8, and they're quite large. And it's like someone's taking the chunk out of the wire, so to speak. And then there's a couple on the right side of my brain, which affects my left side of the body.
Well, it's remarkable to hear your story, and I'm sure it's going to reach out and help a lot of others. You're getting beautiful comments in the chat here that you are looking amazing, glowing. You've got the MetaPWR glow. You look refreshed. Yeah, it's nice. Your family's here listening as well, and everyone's saying that there's a big difference, huge difference. Beautiful as always. Let's see. Deborah's also noticed her hair's gotten darker and growing back where it thinned out before. MetaPWR is fantastic. Yeah, it's just wonderful we can share stories like this and maybe help another. Tracy, do you find yourself talking about MetaPWR to a lot of people and helping them to say yes to it and getting started?
Yeah, and well, I take my MetaPWR at nighttime as well, just before I go to bed. That's when I'm taking the advantage. I'm talking about the collagen, but I am talking about it because when people are saying that you're looking so good, it just comes naturally out as to what I'm actually doing. And I've noticed those that have been beginning lately, because I'm talking about it, that's what they're choosing, the LRV and MetaPWR, or the MetaPWR system. So, yeah.
Well, you're a walking, talking testimonial to it. And what about for people who are indecisive, maybe just haven't quite taken that last step to saying yes? What would you advise to someone in that situation?
So what I'm actually doing, if I'm doing a workshop or talking to someone, I make up a MetaPWR and let them try it and let them taste it. Like one of the girls, Kim and I are doing these events, and I put up these photos of me here, and she didn't actually like the taste of it. But when she saw the photos of me, and then I stood beside it, and she said, "Oh my gosh," she said, I'm gonna take that, even though I don't like the taste. I'm going to start doing it. So if I can do that too," she said. So I actually think there is a lot of people out there struggling with energy, sleep. There's so much sadness out there. And if we can share something that might give somebody even just a little bit more energy, better sleep, and help support themselves, I just think people, really, if you look at even the MetaPWR Advantage, when you break it down to how much it is a day, it's like about half the price of a cup of coffee now. People, I think, are searching for something to help them. We just need to be, I think we're like the monarch butterfly. You just fly on, share your story, and either they are ready to hear it or they don't see the butterfly at all.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, here's to you sharing your story. Oh, you're getting a round of applause in the audience. Thank you so much, Tracy. Any last words before we finish off here?
I just think keep going out and sharing this amazing story, because, and the thing is to be consistent. It's really important. Never give up on you. Never, ever give up on you.